Good morning, Greta! It is officially 12:37 in Montana, so not really morning anymore, but who cares? Today, my video topic is something very serious and very close to home. I wanted to talk about the way that sexual abuse is handled in this country. Sort of stems off of our discussion of feminism. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I've had a lot of personal experience with the way that the system handles sexual abuse. And I wanted to focus specifically on America because that's where my personal experience comes from. But I know that most other places in the world it's equally poor, if not worse. Um, so this is all just part of getting this out there and refusing to feel shame for something that happened. But when I was in high school, I was taken advantage of at a party. Yeah, I was really, really inebriated, and I blacked out, woke up the next day, and found out what I knew about that night from random acquaintances and friends. It was one of the most humiliating, degrading, painful experiences of my life. I didn't tell my parents for quite a while, and I was harassed at school and made fun of, and everyone pretty much agreed that I had consented, and it was with an ex-boyfriend actually, and everyone sort of agreed that it was me getting back at him. So when I went to the police 3 months later, it was sort of viewed in that same manner by the police. Um, I was questioned in a really uncomfortable manner by the detective that handled my case. It was not very sensitive. It was not very trusting. He viewed me or he talked to me as though I had made something up. And that was really hard for me. I didn't exactly know how to react because it had been hard enough to go to the police and tell them these things, but then I was being told that I was wrong and that I had made these things up and that there was nothing they could do because I couldn't even remember that night, so how could I even know that I had said no? But therein lies sort of the fallacy with the logic. I, in my right mind, would have said no, and so the fact that someone had taken advantage of me when I was not in a good place sort of denotes that entire argument as false, in my opinion. However, that's the way the police saw it. They did take him in for questioning, and it sort of turned into this never-ending process. I never knew what was going to happen with it. And, my first day of classes as a university student, I got a phone call from the police saying that they'd questioned him and he had said this and this and this derogatory statement about me. I don't know what their point was in telling me that. Um, and that they could do nothing for me. So that was my experience. I mostly reported it to the police, not really for justice or a vendetta or any of those reasons, but due to the fact that if it had happened to someone else, it would need to be on record that there had been other evidence, which it did. He did do that to someone else, but neither she nor I got any form of justice. So that is one issue. That's my personal experience, very summed up to one little thing. And I think that it's really important to talk about these things and not be ashamed of them. I don't view myself as a rape victim. I think that just takes all my power away, and I will never let someone do that to me. I think that it's really important to have open discourse, and I feel like that sort of relates to what we've been talking about with feminism, is that you can't talk about these sorts of things because there's this sort of idea that if you're raped, it's your fault. And I'm just so against that. And I'm just so against this concept of you should feel shame if that's happened to you. and you can't share it and you can't talk to other people. And even just the few people I've trusted in telling my experience with, I know it's helped immensely. And it's good to just know that somebody else has gone through the same really dreadful thing that you've been through. So yeah, and I didn't really, I didn't really generalize that the whole system would be that way. But recently, a member of my family was working at a church camp, and one of the people in charge, was a young man, um, tried to take tried to molest this member of my family. And when this person is a minor, and when this person went to people in charge, they did not believe them, and they ignored them, and they forced them to face the attacker. And the church itself, like the board, then became involved, and they didn't believe him either. They didn't believe anyone in my family that went in to basically speak on their behalf. Um, and then my family had no other choice but to go to social services and the police. They also spoke with a broad range of psychologists, and these psychologists all, after analyzing the information that had been given, so it was one-sided, um, they basically stated that there was no way that this perpetrator was not lying, because he had everything to lose, whereas a member of my family had to tell the truth. It made no sense to lie about something like that, especially since they were a minor and all of their friends were at that church, and they've since then pretty much been cast out and pushed aside. And the police basically have said exactly to them what they said to me, that they can do nothing. And I think it was a double blow, because I it already happened to me, and that's fine, and I accept that. It's not fine, but I accept it. And I'm not bitter about it or angry. But the fact that it occurred again, the injustice, it's just appalling. So I really struggle with that. And I just struggle with this question of, when will the system be developed enough, if ever, to take care of these problems? And when is the victim going to have the upper hand in this sort of situation? And why, Greta, do you think in this country and in other places in the world do we practice this sort of innocent until proven guilty, whereas guilty until proven innocent is a far better idea? It's far more logical. I really struggle with this. Um, it's I don't know. It's just very wrong. Um, and I just have been kind of thinking about the policy and the decisions that have been made, and I guess these redefinitions of rape and things like that, all it does is further muddy these very, very, very muddy waters already. And it just stalls progress. And I just want to know what you think we have to do to change this. Is there anything that people can do? Because as someone who's been a victim, and as someone who's known a lot of other victims, it seems like there's never anything you can do. And I just wanted to also draw attention to the fact that there are certain victims who have spoken out and who have addressed the public and spoken out through things like Facebook or Twitter. And there was most recently that girl, I can't remember her name, who posted her rapists' names on Twitter or Facebook, and she ended up going to jail for it, um, because she was under gag order basically by the court. And these things are just so appalling to me, that we can live in a world that claims to be so modern and so progressive, and yet when you are physically taken advantage of, there's not even a clear definition for this technically within our government. So just thoughts to think about. Very serious topic, but it's not something that I think anyone should shy away from, and I think personal experience is one of the best ways to talk about these sorts of things. So it was a lot today, but it's good. It's good to get it out there and just be open because, like it or not, like, this happens, and I'd rather talk about it than be ashamed and silent, which will never happen. So my tidbit for the week is I've been on a huge documentary kick lately, just documentaries everywhere. And my tidbit for the week is, which is your favorite type of documentary? I've watched like 12 in the last like 3 days, Greta. You need to make me stop. I will talk to you later, and I hope all is well over in the East Coast, because everything's pretty good over here.